What's up, everybody? Welcome to your monthly forecast reading. As you can see, I'm into my new space. The walls are blindingly white, so I'm going to try to find some ways to mitigate that situation. Anyways, thanks so much for continuing to tune in with me. Before we jump into the reading, I'm going to do a live YouTube reading probably within the next week to 2 weeks. So stay tuned for that. You can see if you go to my YouTube page, which you might be on my YouTube page right now. If you're on my YouTube page, you'll see that there's an invitation for a live event there. First come, first serve. Whoever happens to show up, I'm happy to do a brief reading for you. I've always had fun with those. The other piece is that my foundations course, which I needed to move on, I think I've found a time in this year that I can begin to do that. So stay tuned. There will be more information for that. That's really laying some good foundations for transformational practices. And so if you're new, this is like a great way to begin that process. If you've been doing work like this for a while, you've been doing self work, energetic work, spiritual work, it's great to come back and practice some of these tools. Maybe some of them are new to you. Truly, it is the case that having really good fundamentals can take you immensely far. So if there are places that you haven't cultivated in yourself, learning some of these tools can be really helpful. Anyways, really nice to tune in with you. It's looking like a very juicy month ahead. Enjoy your reading, and we'll tune in again soon. Thanks. Take good care. Wherever you happen to be right now, give yourself a moment to take a few deep breaths. Let your awareness drop down into the sensations of your body. You might notice the support of the ground, the planet beneath you. Then you can bring your attention into your heart space. You might put your mind on some of the things in your life that make you smile, that make you feel grateful. All right, and call out to the grandmothers and the grandfathers of the north, the south, the east, and the west. Please be with us here. Bring forward a clear message and the energy that's needed for each of the individuals witnessing this now. So as we've done in the past, you'll use your intuition to choose one of these cards here. And this will be for the month of June 2025. So using your intuition, you might notice that your attention is drawn to one of these cards or one of these objects here, or you just have a feeling for one of these particular pieces. Trust your decision. You're also welcome to watch all of the readings, and each one will have a bit of information for you, but one of these has probably the more significant information for you at this time. Feel free to skip ahead, but we'll start with our first card here underneath the cube. So for all of you that chose the cube, I'm just going to tune in with you right now. All right, let's take a look. I had a private meeting with somebody not too long ago that asked if I vaped because they heard me go. That's just me breathing out slowly and intentionally and sort of clearing out some of my own stuff so that I can then sort of point my antenna towards collective information for you all. So I'm not sitting here taking a gigantic puff of a vape. I'm doing sort of a long yogic breath. All right, so our first card, for those of you that chose the card underneath the cube, This will be the sort of general situation of the month of June for you. It can give you a sense of sort of the overarching information that's coming in, the growth process that you're going through in the month of June. Second card will be the obstacle, which is what is getting in the way of that growth process. It's not necessarily negative. Often we need that friction in order to go through the growth that we're having in our life at this time. And the final card will be the outcome card, giving you a sense of the overall outcome, obviously, and maybe some information about what is to come in the months to follow. Up above, this will be your advice card for the month of June. Great. Let's take a look. We'll start with our general information, our general situation card here. This is a really positive situation card. It's letting you know that you're in the process of growing into a new chapter in your life. Something is healthfully coming to an end. So rather than like, oops, something got lost, or there's a big loss or breakup, this is more like you're growing into the next phase. Now, this could be growing into the next phase of a relationship. It could be growing into a new pattern in yourself, in your life, like graduating from school, or having sort of let go of some old patterns and standing more firmly in yourself. It can be a number of different things. This world card can also denote a kind of fulfillment, a kind of wholeness, feeling more unified within yourself. So this is a really healthy process that you're stepping into in the month of June. You can sort of see it as leveling up. You're leveling up. You're going from one phase in your life and you're taking on more serious pursuits as a result of growth. Let's take a look at the obstacle, which obviously will be part of what is pushing against this process. So the Eight of Wands is showing up here, which can sometimes be a sign that there's a lot of fast movement and changes that are happening in your life. Now, this can be really positive if you're getting more aligned with yourself, you're growing into a new phase here, but it also can be overwhelming. Sometimes when we make a big change in our life, the things around us start to line up with that change, and it can feel like, oh my gosh, things are shifting at a really intense rate. There can also be the experience of, I'm changing here, but there's still momentum from what I was doing before, and I'm having to sort of reorganize myself at a faster rate than maybe I have in the past. The advice that comes with something like this is being gentle with yourself around the places where there's resistance to change, right? For the most part, we're like, yes, I'm ready for this big new upgrade in my career or in my relationship or in my personal inner world. But there always are going to be parts of yourself that are still holding on to the way that you were doing it before. Being gentle with those parts is really helpful. It's also helpful to meditate on impermanence. Everything is shifting, everything is changing. Can I get on board with the river that my life is? Can I get on board with where it's taking me that, may not be what I know, may not be comfortable or what I've known before, but as we know, holding on to the sides of the river, you're going to get a lot of pressure, a lot of discomfort. So meditating or praying on the process of change that's happening. Let's take a look at the outcome card for the month of June. So this is a great card here. We've got our Seven of Wands that's showing up. And this can be, so there's sort of a double-edged sword here. On the one side, it's a very clear sign of growing. You are stepping into new places in your life. You're taking a stand for who you are. You're taking your place in life. This is really exciting. You're making your moves here. The other side of that, I think it's an Australian saying, which is the tallest sunflower gets whacked. And what that means is that you're growing, you're sort of stepping into your own, but maybe some of the people in your life, maybe some of the contexts in your life are like, no, I don't want you to grow. I want you to stay the same. And so there can be some resistance that happens around you. Your success can feel uncomfortable to others, and that's a natural process. It's also a way in which you start to get more sturdy in the new place that you're standing. If you just grew and there was no resistance, you wouldn't necessarily build the kind of strength that happens when you grow into a new place and there's some pushback. There's some community pushback, some family pushback that says, well, I don't believe that you're growing into this, and you actually have to sort of stand up for yourself in a new way. So you can expect there to be a little bit of this friction. You are doing some big growth here. There are big changes that might be happening fast, and you can expect that in the coming months there can be a little bit of pushback to test this new level that you're stepping into. Let's take a look at your advice card for the month of June. The advice is to seek out the support of those that know more about these new places you're stepping into than you do. Rely on some community support, on the expertise of others. Be willing to seek out support in your own process. So sometimes I like to say that my own growth, my own capacity to stand in the big places that I'm standing in right now is not a result of me as a siloed individual being able to do really cool things. It's as a result of a lot of support structures, mentors, friends, experts, loved ones that hold me and support me and help me grow into the biggest person that I can. Don't be afraid to go to others that know more or that are further on the path than you as support agents in your growth process. So for those of you that chose the first card, this is your reading for the month of June. Thanks so much for tuning in with me, and we're going to get ready to step into the next one here in a second. Just so you guys are aware, I always stop the video right after each of these pieces as a way to take a deep breath and to let go of that information from that particular reading and step into the next one. It's actually a lot of information when you tune into a collective potential, and so it's helpful for me to always pause just for a moment. So let's move on to our next card here. So those of you that choose or will choose the little triangle shape here, this will be your reading for the month of June. I'm just going to tune in with those of you that will choose this particular card. All right, let's take a look here. And just so you know, something that's helpful, that can be helpful, is while I'm doing that particular tuning in with you, you can make yourself a little bit more available to the energetic frequency, which means sort of coming into your body, noticing yourself, because there's the verbal information, but there's also an energetic information, the subtle information that's underneath. And this goes for all of my readings. So just a little pro tip there that you can tune in also with the frequency of the information. So as I've said before, we've got our situation card here, basic information of June, partially the trajectory of growth, and then we've got our obstacle card here, which can be sort of a reciprocal energy, an energy that pushes against that growth process. As I've said, it's a necessary tension. And then we've got our outcome card, which gives us a sense of the outcome for the month of June and maybe some of the energies as we step into the following months. And up above, we've got our advice card for your month of June. So let's take a look here at our first card, our situation card for the month of June, for those of you that chose this second card. This is likely a month of differentiation, sorting, sort of exploring what's on your plate right now. So it's not so much a month of going out, bringing lots of new things in, massive growth, or even necessarily trial and tribulation. It's a month of sorting, of getting clear about how you're feeling, how you're thinking about your life right now. It's definitely a time where you can find that there's new interests, new curiosities that might pop up, but more from a place of researching and exploring and sort of taste testing things. It's a great month for you to organize your life. Where is it that things are pulling me now? What is it that's sort of most important at this point in my life? The Page of Swords is really working on clarifying her thinking, getting clear about what it is that's on her table that's important, what's not important, what might be weighing you down at this point and can be cut loose. Where are the places where there's just more energy being spent than needs to be? So it's a good month for getting clear and being a bit decisive with how you're using your energy at this point in your life. Let's look at what might be pushing against that particular energy in the month ahead. So the Two of Cups. And this could be a sign that there is a friendship or a relationship that maybe isn't very balanced for you right now. You're not necessarily feeling this kind of equanimity or equal reciprocity that's being shown here in the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is this evened out reciprocity. They're looking at each other square in the eyes. They're sharing a cup with one another. We've got this balanced alchemical quality that's happening between them. And if this is showing up as an obstacle, it's possible that there is some form of a relationship in your life that feels imbalanced. You don't feel like what you're putting in is equal to what you're getting back out of it. Now, this could be work-related. This could be a career type of relationship. This could be a romantic relationship, and certainly it could be a friendship. Something is imbalanced, and this movement that's happening of sorting things out might be a sign that you're sort of figuring out, okay, where is it that I need to be putting my attention and my energy in this particular relationship? Am I overspending or over putting myself out there somewhere? It could also be the flip side of it. You might be feeling like, you know what, I'm not attending to this relationship in the way that it deserves to be attended to. I'm sort of withholding, or I'm putting too much attention out here in this other place. So this is something to do a bit of journaling or self-analysis around. Let's take a look at the outcome for the month of June. It's highly likely that you're coming into bigger obligations, bigger responsibilities, a time where you're working really hard, where you're putting a lot of time, energy, and attention into something of great importance, which is all the more reason why it's important for you to do some sorting and sifting so that you're not misusing your time resources, not misusing your attention resources in places where it really isn't being appreciated, or places where you're not feeling like you're being energized from those connections, because it's likely that you're heading into a time of great new responsibility. I would consider this to be a positive movement. You're taking on new responsibilities. You're building towards what it is that you're really wanting in your life. Now, there can be a quality of overwhelm when we sort of take a new stance in life. And that's why it's important to be really looking at how it is that you're spending your energy. But ultimately, this 10 of Wands card is saying you are stepping into the place that you're wanting to be. You are moving in the direction that's going to give you what you're wanting. Just be careful with how you're using your energy. All right, let's take a look at the advice card for this month of June. This is a sign to be paying attention to what is giving you creative sparks, what enlivens you, what makes you feel creatively engaged, what makes you feel really energized, because that's what you want to be giving your attention to. The things that make you light up, the things that make you excited, curious, maybe not specific, like, oh, it's specifically about this particular thing, but just notice the things in your life that make you go, yes, I'm interested, I'm engaged. And As a result, that will help you discern where are the places that I'm ready to begin to let go of. All right, so for those of you that tuned in and chose this second card, this will be your reading. This was your reading for the month of June. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I look forward to connecting again soon. All right, and for our final reading for today, this will be the third choice, the double helix here. So for those of you that chose this card, this will be your reading for the month of June. And I'm just going to tune in with you now. All right. First card will be the situation card for the month of June. Second card is our obstacle card. And third card will be the outcome card for the month of June. Let's start ourselves off with our situation card here, which is showing up as our Knight of Swords, which can be a sign that you might be hyper focused on something. There's a lot of movement and intensity in your life, and you might be finding that you're really focused in on something in particular, either a goal, something that you're really wanting to achieve. It could also be something like a particular problem or situation in your life that you're wanting to resolve or bring understanding to. And then on some of the more dark sort of side of the spectrum, it could be something that's really bugging you, that you feel like there's something off and you're just really, really focused on it. There's a lot of intensity and willpower in this card. I would say that often the Knight of Swords can show up when there's kind of an imbalance. Now, there's a time for rest and a time for movement. There's even a time for this kind of intense focus and rapid movement. But let's take a look at what our obstacle card is telling us, and it might give us a little bit more information here. So the obstacle card is showing up as our Knight of Cups, and this is letting me know that this type of focus and intensity is actually really important for your energy right now. You might be the type of person that's been a little too adaptive, a little too accommodating, a little too sort of wishy-washy, open to whatever it is that's going to happen. We, of course, love our Knight of Cups, but the Knight of Cups, when it's in an obstacle position, can be somebody that has sort of talks a big game, or that is overly sort of gushy with people, a little bit too soft, a little bit too malleable. And this Knight of Swords is saying, okay, let's cut to the chase. What is it that's clear for you? What is it that you're wanting? What is the direction that you're heading? So it's going for this more watery, open, loose sort of quality that might be a little closer to your native qualities, or at least a phase of your native qualities, and saying, okay, let's get a little more clear so that you can move yourself forward. And this is a great month as a result to be focusing in on what is it that you really want. What is it that you really want to achieve? What is it that you're really wanting in your life? What is it that you're really wanting to manifest forward for yourself? This is a pretty juicy piece, and one of the ways that you might be feeling this is, oh, is it okay for me to get so clear? Is it okay for me to pay attention to my own desires and my own wants right now, to zone in, to put the visor on and the shades on and go for what it is that I want, regardless of what other people are thinking? That's kind of the bridge that's being shown here. Let's take a look at your outcome card for this month of June. So this feels really positive to me. By getting more self-focused in a positive way, you're listening more clearly to your purpose. your soul's song is the way that I like to call that, when you're listening to what it is that you're truly here for, being represented here by our judgment card. This is a card of your calling. It's a card of being willing to listen to your deeper purpose, to what it is that you're actually here for. And when we're being really accommodating, when we're really listening to what everybody else wants and not wanting to step on any toes, staying away from conflict, sort of avoiding the places that might harm others, we aren't focused enough or feeling enough to really listen to what is it that I'm here to do. It's almost like there's a calling of your spiritual warriorhood to come forward. The part of you that goes, no, I know this is who I am, and I'm going to listen to it, even if that means I need to disappoint somebody in my life, even if that means that I'm going to make choices that other people are confused about. I know what's really deep and true inside of myself. So this is an important month for cultivating that self-wisdom, that willingness to listen to yourself. And that might mean spending some time just with you, or doing something that helps promote your focus and your intent. Let's look at your advice card for this month. Advice card is coming. We've got our temperance card here showing up, which is, people tend to think of this as like, okay, not too much over here and not too much over there. Temperance is actually a quality of also refinement. It's refining your intention, refining your direction. You're using your past experiences and even drawing in your future wisdom, the wisdom of your higher self, to get clarified about where your path is leading you. You see this really specific razor edge path that leads to the sun, that leads to your fulfillment, your enlightenment. So it's saying, get more and more precise about what is this life about for me? The alchemy of bringing forward who you truly are into this life. So for those of you that chose the third card, thank you so much. This was your reading for the month of June. Really appreciate tuning in with you, and for tuning in with everybody else. As always, it's an honor, and you'll be seeing and hearing from me again soon. Take good care.